Yeah, my name is Vlado, and I am here on the behalf of European Wilderness Society. That's an international organization dealing with wilderness conservation. And basically our work as a non-profit organization, international, we managed to prove that we still have fragments of wilderness. That means area with no intervention management. That means no hunting, no fishing, no logging, no tractors, no grazing, just area where the nature processes are running in a spontaneous way. And we prove that 12 areas, at each one at least 10,000 hectares of such land, they still have scattered all over Europe. So that's basically my short introduction, what I did in the last more than 20 years. And result is here in Europe. Network of the audited fragments of wilderness scattered all over Europe. Rewilding is important element of all process when the quality standard was identified on the European scale based on IUCN definition, etc. Rewilding is basically providing the hope, potential to enlarge what we still have in Europe in the form of wilderness. We are here in the Netherlands, in one of the oldest areas with the rewilding process going on. But they know that this area not very likely will get quality of wilderness. Because these kind of areas can be all over Europe, many thousands of hectares or hundred thousands of hectares. And they can help us identify where are the new potential wilderness capacity for enlarging the wilderness network. And we already learn, in the case of Tatra National Park in my country, in Slovakia, actually great potential wilderness area in the northern part of Slovakia at the border with Poland. That's the area where I was born. I grew up in a small forest cabin where my father used to be the foresters. And that's the area where I am spending my life. Last 40 years I live in a small town nearby. My background is actually forestry, so I hoped in the past that I understand them, but then I learned there are so many things that I have to still learn. And I see the differences, what is happening there, how forest is changing because of human impact, how forest is changing when this human impact was stopped. Ten years ago, when 12,000 hectares of forest, conifer forest has been killed in 1 hour by the strong wind. Everybody around telling end of the national park, what we are going to do now, how we can survive this kind of catastrophe, all animals will run out, etc. Now, after 10 years, we see miracles, what are happening in an area which has been planted as a spruce monoculture. And there was an intention already 50 years ago how to change this monoculture to the more healthy, more mixed, more diverse forest. Mother Nature did that for us. On these 12,000 hectares, because there was an agreement between the local NGOs, which organized huge public protest when the Park Service have a plan to clean it up, most of the area, and take timber out of that zone. They make the deal that the government decided, okay, leave it as it is. And now we see that process, and we are learning every day how different ecosystems has changed, developing here with the consequences, with a perfect biodiversity, species which has never existed. That's actually the objective of the wilderness, to protect the spontaneous natural processes, which includes even disturbances. Wind in the Tatras, that's one of example of disturbances. Another example can be the bark beetle, or stronger dry summer. or avalanche. And this kind of, each of these disturbances has a meaning and importance in the life of this kind of forest ecosystems. What we can learn, how even today, in this situation when climate change is impacting all these natural spontaneous processes, how it can save and support and see and understand how Mother Nature is going to deal with this spontaneous development of the ecosystems. In some extent, rewilding is happening everywhere. We have to just keep eye open. And after the 2 days traveling through the densely populated and developed Europe from Slovakia via Vienna airport, etc., suddenly I am in the middle of small piece of, not wilderness, but nice wild area. I still can see the chimneys and buildings around, but this is inspirative point, because if they do that, if they manage to do this kind of small miracle here, how many things we can do in a country like Slovakia, Bulgaria, Romania, which is much less pressure or development and much more opportunity for rewilding process, and at the end of the day maybe even for wilderness.